Merry Christmas, Keto Club. I'm Dr. Graves here doing a video. It's been a little while, and I thought it would be a good time this morning, this Christmas Eve, to do a little update and to review the new product from Pruvit, the Keto Kreme. Just here in Spokane, and we're getting just tons of snow. I looked out and saw that it's once again snowing lightly again, but quite beautiful. And as my daughter said the other morning, Daddy, we are in a winter wonderland. And she was right. I could do without the shoveling, but you know, that's the price we pay. So anyway, I got my first little packets of this Keto Kreme from Pruvit, the makers of the Keto OS, that I've been using and recommending and trying. And I decided to brew up some coffee this morning, and apologize for this deep voice of mine right now. I have a little respiratory thing on the rebound, taking my supplements over here. Anyway, so I brewed up the coffee. This is designed to put in your tea or coffee as a creamer, of course, and it's a powdered form, and it's got MCT powder, coconut shortening powder, and Ceylon and stevia. Ceylon is a green tea derivative, I believe. It's a kind of a white tea, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, as it says here, ketones in every cup. That way you're adding those MCTs in. Let me just make one commentary here. I had a misunderstanding about what this was. Initially, as I read through the information on it, I assumed that it actually had the ketones in it, just like this. So in other words, it's kind of a creamer version of this, your coffee, but it actually had the beta hydroxybutyrate. Getting the packets though, and looking at the ingredients, I realized that it does not. I personally think that the way it's been described in the literature, or their spec sheets, and then this marketing here with the ketones in every cup, I think that just breeds a little bit of misunderstanding on the part of the user, consumer. I feel like I'm a pretty smart person. I mean, I try to, maybe I'm over analytical. That might be an understatement, but to me, when you say ketones in every cup, that means I'm pouring this into my cup and there are ketones now in here. That is not technically true, because that's like, you know, you could say anytime you eat anything with fat in it, there's ketones in that, and that's not true. Just like eating a piece of bread, technically there's not glucose in there. There is the potential for your body to break down a piece of bread and make glucose from it. But it's just kind of some semantics, and I feel like just being clear in labeling and stuff is always a good thing for the consumer. And I've seen a lot of people posting, talking about using this. It's so good, they love it, and that's wonderful. And they're thinking they're going to use that in place of this at times. And that may not always be the same effect, because your body has to be in ketosis and be breaking down ketones. In other words, you need to be in a fairly strict ketogenic diet to be able to utilize this and turn it into ketones efficiently, at least in my understanding. So anyway, let's get to the actual review. So I put it in the coffee and tasted it. It mixed in pretty well. There was a few little bit of a clumps around the corners, but nothing, wasn't unpleasant. So it mixed in well. There is a little bit of stevia in there, and at first I didn't notice it, but I began to notice that stevia taste. Personally, I don't need that. I don't need sweet at all in my coffee. I like the cream texture, and that's plenty for me. So it worked well on the go. It's going to be a convenient way to get those fats, and certainly be useful. Let me just back up and also talk about what I prefer in my coffee. You know, you hear about bulletproof coffee in conjunction with the keto diet, and the bulletproof coffee is essentially where you put butter and sometimes MCT oil into your coffee, to get those fats. And unless you blend it, to me, it doesn't work really well. It's kind of unpleasant, because you put butter and MCT oil in there, and that all just floats on the top. And so you go to drink your coffee, especially in your, on-the-go mug. I basically take a swig of this, and I'm getting a mouthful of just the oil. And So you have to blend it to do it that way, and to me that's inconvenient. So, and I also have to ask why, what's the point of using butter in your hot drink? Because God made cream from the cows, and that is just the perfect thing to me. It's emulsified. It goes right in, blends in, no blending needed. It tastes great, very pleasant. Anyway, heavy cream, you don't need a lot to get that dense cream. It's got the same amount of fat as butter, and so the best cream you can buy, get it. To me, that's the best way to go. MCT oil, frankly, unless I'm going to blend a smoothie, I just take it by a spoonful as a dose a couple times a day, probably about a tablespoon. What was I going to say? Also, so for me, this the Keto Kreme, it's convenient, and to me that's great. But as far as a price point, I just get coconut cream in a can, and I am trying to get this lid off. This is coconut cream from a can, couple of bucks for 12 ounces or so. And it's also something to be used if you don't want cream every day from cows, then coconut cream's the way to go. Also, I love it. It's very pleasant, blends right in. No need to blend or anything. So, basically a week or two supply here for about $4. These are about $4 a packet. So, I mean, literally, if you're using one a day, that's suddenly creating, along with your Keto OS, that's quite a different investment. And for me, generally, I'll be able to just have this stuff with me or use it in the morning. If I'm on a trip or something, then I could see throwing these in. That would be great. Hiking, backpacking, camping, great to have. So anyway, others, you might have a differing opinion. Please, make comments. Let me know and your feedback. Like I said, I also prefer the taste of just the cream by itself without any added stevia in there at all. So that's my take. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and keep on eating those fats.